Hey friends,
Namaste dosto.
we are in our final evening
Yeah.
before we begin our new life in India. We're both tired.
It's been really huge the last 2-3 weeks particularly.
Really big.
Very huge.
We've had to pack a house down, pack a business down, say farewell to many friends. It's been super supportive.
It has, and we've had the most amazing help. So many friends coming to help with gardening and packing and cleaning. We couldn't have done it without that help actually. It's just been incredible.
Isn't it?
Yeah. So grateful.
But this is the beginning video of a new series.
Yeah, it is.
So if you're new to our YouTube channel, welcome. I'm Jono.
I'm Yasmin.
And we are a couple of spiritual teachers and therapists and counsellors who have been supporting others for, well, for me it's 29 odd years, for you it's...
Oh, I don't know, 37 or more.
And
Yes.
if you've been following us, you know that we take tours in India and other parts in the world, but we've made a very big change in our life and decided that we are ready for a new adventure, so we're moving to India.
And I felt a huge calling home. For me, India is my home, and inside this very white body is an Indian person, an Indian soul.
Indeed.
Yeah.
An Indian soul, and you're treated amazingly when we're in India as well.
Yeah, it's my home.
It is. So we've heard the calling that Yasmin's teachers have put forward to her. They've referred to it as her third cycle. We've talked about the third chapter of our life.
We have.
There's the life we had before we met. There's
Yes.
been the last 29 years.
Yes, we've been together, although probably 31
If you
since
count.
we met.
Yep. And now there's the third chapter. So we want to bring you along for our journey, and this video is a bit of a wrap up of the last weeks of our time here in New Zealand, and it's going to sort of bring us into the beginning of our time in India. So remember, if you enjoy following a couple of, well, we'll kindly say middle-aged New Zealanders embarking on a grand new adventure to create an exciting new life, and you'd like to follow along, remember to like and subscribe. And we're really looking forward to showing you what and why we so love this wonderful country called Bharat, or India.
Yeah, it's a place that is so sacred, alive. The Indian heart is so alive. The people
Yeah, always the people.
here in their heart,
Yeah.
and it's gradually become somewhere we want to be all the time.
Yeah. So join us, and hope you enjoy the video that's ahead for you. We are just gathering, my beloved, for what is the last night with Raman here in Christchurch for an undetermined amount of time. So we're using this rented space, and Lorna is making the most beautiful mandala for us.
And to relax into this place, the space of connection, oneness, the space of love brought about by an open heart, a clear mind, and a very beautiful soul.
All right, friends. So, if you can all gather in, we're going to squeeze you all in here. This is a fairly historic moment for us. It's so wonderful to have you all with us. Okay, let's see how that's going. Oh, that's beautiful. Wow. Oh my gosh, can I get you all in? Those on the outside, squeeze in even more. Okay, we're almost going to do it. Wow. Okay, you look glorious there, darling. Everyone's going to say, Dustaram. That means I love you, so you're saying it to me. Oh, that was on video. Hold on a minute. Walking through our empty home as we say goodbye to what has been a very, very happy time living with a beautiful view. But that's it, darling.
That's it.
We are shattered. Plus the fact we almost had to evacuate last night because there's been big fires on the hills up behind us.
And there still are burning
Yeah.
up there. Lots of smoke and helicopters.
So we leave this beautiful home we've had for
4.5 years. Yeah.
In drama. And
It's going to let the fly out.
yeah, it's been amazing. Had incredible help from people who have just been so supportive of everything we're doing. And we are empty and stuff's in a lock-up.
Looking forward to a few days rest and recovery before we fly.
Yeah. Yeah, it's moving down the hill as well. Still in the valley just over the point from the main houses of governors, but it's been travelling fast. Hey friends, we're outside the India High Commission here in Wellington after catching a red eye up here, and we've had a rather intense morning.
We have,
But
we have our business visa now for India.
Final hurdle, and we're feeling so supported, and we had this amazing moment in the interview room, 3 people standing talking to us about our intentions, and
Sitting
then
really, one
well,
standing,
true,
yeah.
and then this energy just came over, and they all looked at us and smiled and said, very good, you have your visa, come back in 1 hour.
The second consular secretary said to me, do I know you? And I felt Mars energy come in, and oh my gosh.
The advantage of being held by spirit. So, we're off to India. We are at the beginning of the 20th anniversary of the NZAAPT, the New Zealand Association of Intuitive and Partial Therapists, that my beloved created back in
2004.
2004.
2004.
But it's also turned into a bit of a farewell party for us.
Yes.
So we've arrived a little early to see it being set up, and look at what's been created for this amazing event tonight. Well done. A final farewell, darling, with a heart-shaped cake. That's so sweet.
Made outside the matrix.
This is when it gets real. We've got our beautiful daughter Savannah and Gina and Shona here to see us off on this great adventure. It's nice just having a small group after lots of goodbyes. Just did the hardest thing, say goodbye to our beautiful daughter, who's just walking off in the distance. Gone to the car, that orange dot in the distance there. Boy, I knew that was going to be tough, but it was really tough because she's such a precious part of our life. But this is what happens when you take grand adventures. Well, we're here, darling.
We're here. Finally, after 8 months, this date has come, and we're sitting in the departure lounge, boarding shortly.
Said all our hard goodbyes, and now we fly to have our happy Namaste hellos. Thanks everyone for all the love and support and all the messages. This is an exciting part of our life, and we really hope that in some way it inspires you in yours.
Things have just continued to unfold, and just say spiritual support systems have been coming still
On turbo. On turbo.
I'm feeling very reassured and comforted and supported and welcomed, and it's just amazing. It's just going to be amazing.
It is.
We're looking forward to a rest.
So see you on the other side.
See you in India.
Morning friends, we're in our first morning day here in Ahmedabad, and this is our little room that we've been gifted by our friends.
Namaste, Dostal.
But we've slept under the protection of this most amazing soul, Anandamiyama, who is Yasmin's dearest sister, teacher, friend, most beloved. So it's a real blessing.
In the home of our dear friends Apana and Kandap. And Apana grew up with Ma and was given her first solid food by Ma's own hand, and her mother also looked after Ma her whole life.
So those of you who followed us will know that we've been to Ma's Ashram a few times, and it's pretty special. Though I did say to Yasmin, I'm not feeling inclined to be wanting to make love this morning when you're resting under such a high caliber deity and mother energy as Ma, so we'll wait till we get to Goa. Just wanted to show you this most pretty little courtyard of Kandaps and Hapanas, and it's just full of the most amazing greenery and all their pots and plants. Yasmin and I have just pulled up to Anandamiyama's temple here in Ahmedabad, and
The meditation centre.
in a city of about 5 million people, which is the population of New Zealand, and it's actually a very tidy city. A lot of work's going in. You can see all along the roads here, and all the cables are going underground. So this is part of the change of infrastructure. Welcome to India, darling.
It's so good to be here. I'm just feeling really good after some sleep. I think when we were on our last hour or so of the flight, we were tired.
Oh, we were suffering.
We were suffering, and then you think, oh my God, what are we doing? And this morning it's all different. Yeah.
Our dear friend Apana, who's very close to Anandamiyama, coming to this meditation center right here on the edge of a busy roundabout. I love it. Wow. I want to share something with you. So we're sitting here in this beautiful round meditation space dedicated to Ma, Anandamiyama. Now she's never been here, but it was built by one of her most loyal and loving devotees. The land was dedicated by the government, and then it was built by this family. And the presence of her is very much here, and there's an energy and a hum of her loving embrace. But I want you to notice the noise on the outside. Okay, so through these vented windows, we're sitting right beside a major traffic junction. And I'm very conscious of how sitting here in my own meditation, this circular space represents that stillness of the soul, the quietness and the calm that always awaits us inside. And on the outside, it was like the noise of the mind, the noise of humanity that we're so pulled into. And I thought, what a foolish mission it would be to try and calm that down. Why not go in and just work with what is at least manageable to some degree, and that is what is the noise that is going on inside of me. The contrasting forces of life. What pulls us out into the world, and then what pulls us in. We're here at the Toll Lake and Sanctuary, and it's this most beautiful, rather large, what was once a reservoir, an irrigation reservoir that was built around 1912, and it was ostensibly suggested it was built by the local ruler as a benefactor to the people for irrigation, but the other story is that his lands would flood the neighbouring lands that were owned by the British. and they would fine him. So he built this great reservoir to protect being fined. But the consequences, we end up with this. And the water buffalo have come to graze. It's moving into the dry season, and it's full of birds. I've seen osprey, there's white heron, I've seen the great common crane, there's pelicans over in the distance feeding. It is a very beautiful space. So along with the common crane, the purple-headed crane, the cormorant, then there under the trees is the blue ball antelope, the largest species of antelope in the world, just sitting under those trees. Look at this is magnificent. They were patiently waiting for you when we woke this morning with the peahens.
This here, that's actually a young male.
Ah, it's a young male. But it's a peahen below, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
These two. That's the mother.
Ah, it's the mother of this one.
That one.
Yeah.
And this is the mother of this one. This is pushing them all out.
A murder of crows. We are surrounded by a murder of crows.
Yeah.
Wow. It's such a fantastic sound to be woken to as well.
Now, my child doesn't do it, but she's familiar.
So Apan has brought us to Gandhi's Ashram here in Ahmedabad. Over here is the wee house that Gandhi's adopted daughter would stay at. And just past that white wall is the river that runs through Anandamiyama. This is a lovely space. It's so colonial. Well, when I say colonial, I mean the terracotted roofs and the white walls. It's so well kept. So well kept. And of course, being Gandhi's ashram, it's also very peaceful. Of course, yes, Gandhi was famous for reintroducing the crafts and trades back into India. In one of the rooms where Gandhi would sit, and meetings were held here and plans were laid. This is quite extraordinary to be here because Gandhi is one of those names that everyone knows, even if they don't know his whole story. But here we are standing in what was his home from 1918 to 1930, which was the period of such powerful upheaval and uprising within India that eventually led to the independence in 1946. And although Gandhi never wanted the separation that occurred between India and Pakistan, he had other plans of how he thought it could work. He had such a big impact on the whole consciousness of India and eventually the world, because he was a man of peace. And perhaps now more than ever we need to take lessons from his path of non-violent protest in a world which is certainly challenging.
And it just feels so peaceful.
And this open place, so much of light, and in this place you can do so much. You can. You can sit out.
talking with people. And,
Yeah.
and it's shady as well.
Aparna's just telling us the most beautiful story about Kripa Kaul, who was Gandhi's stenographer, and she was by his side taking notes for him
Always.
all his life, and she left him briefly in the moment that he was assassinated, only to return to find that he'd been killed. But the part of the story which is rather beautiful is that Kripa Kaul found her way to Anandamiyama and became a devotee of hers.
And so she told them.
And she stayed with Ma until she died, and until she died as well.
Yeah,
She stayed.
she died after Ma.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So here we are in Gandhi's home, now as Ashram, learning Ma's connection to this as well. It's so
And
beautiful.
Ma used to call Gandhi ji Pitaji. Pitaji. So when Ma had gone to meet Vinoba Bhave, so Gandhi ji was also there. So Gandhi ji presented her a sari written by himself, the Ram, Ram, Ram all over the sari. It is still in Kankal Museum. Yes.
I just love the story that Aparna just said about Kripal Kaur, how she had wanted, after Gandhi died, to join Ma's ashram, and her father said no. And then she went to see Ma and she told her, I want to join you, but my father has said no. And Ma said, go and ask your father today. And he said yes.
And these are a list, a grand list of the masters, the great Mahatma Gandhi, of his journey through life. And what strikes me is the times he was put in prison, and how for great change to occur, so often people must go through great suffering, which is the sad truth, because those, of course, who are in the position of power do not want to change. In this room, it's dedicated to the spinning wheel that Gandhi so famously reintroduced back to the people of India and empowered them so well. Because the looms were taken out of India and the wealth was given to England. And although the cotton was grown here, but this gave it back to the people. Truly such an inspiring soul. Here are some of his quotes. One thing you really feel walking around this museum's dedication to Mahatma is the greatness of his conscience and his absolute fixation on the liberty of the human spirit. And I think this quote here says it all rather well. It's so easy in this world to react to those things which oppress us and throw swords at the heart of the soul that seeks to live free. But to choose that path that draws from the inside of courage is a whole different journey than just to react and lash out. What a man, what an extraordinary man, what a soul. In his final fast, it was only when hundreds came together to declare agreement with his requests to bring an end to the riots did he actually step away from his final fast, which he said he would fast till the end. And it was very sadly soon after that, well, a bomb was thrown at a prayer meeting on the 20th of January 1948, and then he was shot dead on the 30th of January while on his way to evening prayer. But it was hundreds of representatives, different groups and organisations in Delhi that came to him to sign a declaration of assurance on the 7 conditions he proposed to bring an end of the communal riots, but also everything he'd been fighting for his whole life. I feel so very deeply moved by this place, his ashram here at the banks of the river in Ahmedabad. He established it here because Ahmedabad was the capital of Gujarat. He was Gujarati, and the tradition of weaving had existed in Ahmedabad before. Well, it was confiscated, you could say, by the English at the time. But for such a man of small stature, the size of his heart is hard to comprehend, really. It's the difference he made to the world in a century where there were the Stalins and the Hitlers and the Churchills, and then there's this man Gandhi, and in it he gave us an alternative, a different story, another way to see ourselves, another way to see humanity. And here I am walking around the site of his ashram, and yeah, it's hard not to be deeply affected by such a soul, and to know of his enormous courage to care about people so very, very, very deeply, that his whole life was dedicated to giving them back themselves.
This is a place that you really have to come to because it's so calm and peaceful, and it just turns you inward into yourself, and to see how Gandhi succeeded so well in his example. It's truly beautiful.